Today I'm going to show you a full arterial study done with our PADnet 4.0 system that meets the criteria for CPT Code 93923. As you can see, our patient is laying down. He's already got all of his cuffs on. His right arm cuff is attached to our PADnet 4.0 DTU, and the PPG probe is on his right middle finger. Now, in our software, I'm going to click Start. And now the DTU is pumping the right arm cuff with air. Right now what you can see are some measurements that are taken with the PPG probe on the finger. And as that cuff inflates tight enough to occlude those arteries, you no longer are able to see that PPG probe measurement. Now what we are going to do is we're going to wait until we can see that pulse, that blood flow return. And then in the software we'll click Capture Pressure and Stop. Okay, so I'm going to click Capture Pressure and Stop. Then I'm going to click Previous Increment. And then I'm going to select where I identified that return of blood flow. Now I'm going to click Next segment in the software. And then we're going to move that extension hose from the right arm cuff to the left arm cuff. And then I'm going to move that PPG probe from the right hand to the left middle finger. And then in the software, I'm going to click Start. And the DTU is now pumping up that left arm cuff. Then again, we're just going to wait until we can see that return of blood flow. And then we'll click Capture Pressure and Stop. Okay, great. So we see that blood flow return. Click Capture Pressure and then Stop. And then we're going to select where we see that blood flow return. And then click Next Segment. And the next part we're going to test our PVR waveform to the right above knee. So I'm going to move that extension hose from the left arm cuff to the right above knee cuff. And then click Start in the software. Now the DTU is inflating that right above knee cuff, and then soon we'll start to see some waveforms on the screen. Once the waveforms are at an equal height and have identical morphology, we'll click Stop in the software, and then we'll select a grouping of waveforms that looks really similar. Okay. So the waveforms are on the same height, so I'm going to click Stop. Then I'm going to use the Next Increment button to select a grouping of waveforms that are identical. Then I'm going to change the gain to 0.5 so they fit on the screen. Then I'm going to click Next Segment. And now we're going to move from the right above knee cuff to the left above knee cuff. And we're going to do a PVR of this segment as well. Then in the software, we'll click Start. And then once this cuff fills up with air, we're going to start to see some waveforms here too. Okay, great. And we're going to let it run for a bit until we have waveforms that are identical in shape and the same height. And once we have that, we'll click Stop. Then we'll use that Next Increment button again to center a grouping of identical waveforms. And then I'm going to change the gain to be equal to the other side, so they fit nicely on the screen. And then click Next Segment. And then we're going to move to the right calf segment for PVR waveforms. Then again, clicking start in the software. Okay. Wait until the waveforms are identical. Click stop. We're going to change the gain again just so that the waveforms are going to fit on the screen. Then click next segment to center a nice group. And then we're going to move on to the left calf for PVR waveforms at this segment. Click start. And click stop once we have a nice grouping of waveforms. Again, we're going to change the gain just so they fit on this screen. And then we'll click next segment to move on to the next portion. We are going to do PVR waveforms at the ankle, and then that's going to be the end of the PVR waveforms. After that, we'll move on to doing ankle pressures. So I've attached the extension hose to the right ankle cuff, and then I'm going to click start. And we'll let the waveforms run for a second until they're the same height and morphology. Then click stop. We'll select next increment just so that we get a nice group, and then change the gain. Click next segment to move on to the PVR waveforms at the left ankle. And then click start in the software. And then we're going to click next segment. Now we're going to do pressures again at the ankle. So since we are doing pressures, we're going to move that PPG probe from the left hand, and then we're going to move that to his left big toe. Then we're going to click start in the software. And then just like when we were doing the arm pressures, we're going to wait until we see that blood flow return. And then once we're able to see that, we'll click capture pressure and then stop in the software. So I'm going to click capture pressure, then stop. Then I'm going to select previous increment, and I'm going to select where I see that return of blood flow. And then click next segment, so we can do the blood pressure at the right ankle. And then I'm going to move both the extension hose and the PPG probe to the right ankle cuff and then the right big toe. Then click start in the software. going to click capture pressure and stop. And then use the previous increment button to allow me to select that return of blood flow. And then after I've completed that study, it's going to allow me to complete the test. And then that was the end of the study. It does meet criteria for CPT Code 93923, and it's a full arterial study.